Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel / podcast. This is going to be the episode 4 spoiler review for the new Max series by DC Comics, The Penguin. Again, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen this, do me a favor. Pause this, give me a thumbs up, because guess what? That little small thing, if you just hit the thumbs up on any of my videos on this channel, will help my channel grow, give me more viewers, more subscribers, and I truly appreciate that. That's all I want, is you guys to hit the thumbs up, because that would just make my YouTube channel / podcast even better. And I appreciate everybody who has followed me, subscribed to me, and I thank you guys so much. But as soon as you do all that, go watch The Penguin. Such an amazing series. I love it. If you like mobsters, The Godfather, The Sopranos, Scarface, if you like things like that, this is the show for you. And as I've been reviewing these in spoiler reviews, like I said, go watch this, because I don't want to spoil nothing for you if you have not seen this show yet, because this is an awesome show. You're gonna love it. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Let's get into it. This episode gives us a whole origin story of Sophia Falcone, just giving us the idea of what started it and why she's in the current situation she is with her family, the Falcones. And in this episode, we see her giving a speech for a facility, or maybe a program to help people with mental health, as her mother is dealing with depression. And this is the reason why we think this is why her death happened. But Sophia Falcone believes, because that's what she saw as a child, is her mother took her own life away. But that's what we think so far. Now, at this point in time, the Penguin is her personal driver. So we do see him through this episode and see his true colors of what makes him the iconic villain, or one of the iconic villains for Batman, is the Penguin, and why he is the Penguin, what he does. A woman showed up and made some claims that the facility, or the work of the women who work for her father, Carmine Falcone, have supposedly took their own lives. But she has photos and evidence to show that Falcone, her dad, Sophia Falcone's father, Carmine Falcone, has actually physically choked them to death. Now, this is kind of like a parallel from the Batman movie. This is what he did to kill Catwoman's mother. And this is what he tried to do to Catwoman before the lights went out and stuff. In that scene, in that film, I should say. And so it has a little bit of that. And honestly, too, like, they're really teasing the idea that these two characters are going to meet at some point. Ideally, but who knows if they do meet. That's a far fetch. But they kind of tease in, they're planting some seeds with this, because it's a little bit of a mirror to the Batman film with some of these scenes throughout all these episodes, I should say. Now, when they go back to that, this woman gets kicked out, because nobody wants Sophia Falcone to know the actual truth. Because if you remember in that episode, they showed it, where when she's a little girl, she sees it, and if you notice, Falcone's hands was already bloody red. but he was been trying to trick her for years and years. Now, in this episode, they go on, and Sophia tries to talk to her father about this, but of course he shuts this down because he does not want her to figure it out, and he just wants to move on from it because he has big plans. And then we see in this episode where they're kind of having dinner or lunch maybe, and we see Alberto Falcone show up. And, he's a young guy, he's kind of silly, he's a little bit of a brat, spoiled because of the lifestyle that Sophia and Alberto's father has given them with finance and a better lifestyle, of course. But he considers Alberto weak. And so the idea is he wants his daughter Sophia to run the family business, and she goes, "Are you sure? Like, are they going to be okay?" He goes, "With my word, they will be okay with it." But remember, Carmine Falcone, was shot and killed in the Batman thanks to the Riddler. So it didn't work out for that in general, but it's kind of messed up. Like, honestly, it's so messed up. Like, in a way, it's like we're seeing what's going on. Like, they had big plans, and then, like, without Batman being there, Batman ruined everything, ruined the whole plan. And I don't think Batman realized that he ruined a big plan when all he was trying to do is stop the Riddler and figure out what's going on with this. It's just kind of funny, and it's kind of awesome and neat because this is so Batman in every way you can imagine. And so again, he's doing this, and she seems like she wants to do this, but she shows like there was a time in her life too, because this is just a flashback too as well, that she wasn't like that mean. She wasn't that mean-hearted. I think she had a kind heart, and I believe that she didn't want to live the lifestyle that her family has pretty much built and lived on. I think that there was a point, if none of this happened, I think she would have lived a quote-unquote normal life in Gotham City, whatever that may look like to the audience, to the readers, and to these characters, obviously. But we see that it wasn't that. I think her dad, again, wanted her to run this business because I think he sees the potential of her being, stone cold, heart-colded person, a mean person, very ruthless, can handle her own business, versus Alberto, who could be pushed around. He's very irresponsible. He's always showing up late, but Sophia Falcone is more like her dad, and maybe he sees that. But again, I think that Sophia's dad is trying to manipulate, in which he does throughout this whole episode, is to make her not notice that she's more of her mother. Because she shows in this episode, in this scene, she was once more kind-hearted. Even though she knew what the idea is, but they never really told her the family business yet. But now she's an adult. I think he was trying to slowly get her into it, but things change. Because in this episode, she goes and meets the woman who has these, and she was really shocked at the moment. And again, think about this. The Penguin drove her to this woman, and they're just looking at it. And you can tell Sophia is not street smart. She's not very well smart to cover up her tracks. Don't leave a trail. Don't trust anybody. She kind of trusted the Penguin, and this is again where they didn't really explain why, but I feel like And I wonder if they're ever going to show this in this season. But she, at this point, she even shows more signs that she really trusted the Penguin. You know, maybe looked up to him in the sense of it. But because when she gets back in the car, because she was shocked again, she didn't want to believe it. She's like, "That's not my father. My father would never do that." Because again, in this episode, they're showing that her parents somewhat isolated her from the harsh truth of what Carmine Falcone and all his family and the rest of the family, I should say, do for a living, and that they're mobsters, they're killers, they break the law, you know, they run the streets of Gotham, and they don't pay taxes in the sense, I guess. I don't know, but that's the kind of idea. But this is where we learn where the Penguin snitched. You know, the Penguin took this opportunity to do that because now her dad knows, and he pretty much sent her to Arkham Asylum, and you know, found a way, got paid the right judge just to keep her in there, saying she's crazy, and that really obviously sucked. Now they did have an argument, Sophia and Penguin. She's like, "Great, thanks a lot. Now they see that's all you wanted, you and your boys. Now he sees you're on his radar. Now you're gonna move on up." But when they do send Sophia to the Arkham Asylum, they're showing us how brutal this place is. And this is the time where we first see Dr. Julian Rush of, you know, seeing her, meeting her, because it was always wondering, like, why they meet, why is she always at his house or whatever, and it's like, is he being paid? Who knows? But obviously, this is just a cover-up. So everybody in Arkham Asylum that works there is in on it. And he's just showing how much he's got these people in his pockets. Like, he's paying them. We also get introduced to another famous DC comic villain character from the Batman arcs. We get none other than Magpie. Now, okay, she is a lesser-known villain, but for people who read all the DC comic books, especially with Batman, whether it's Arkham Knight's version or the Dark Knight, whatever version of a Batman series in comic books, this villain does get used a lot, whether with the Robin or a Batgirl, a Batwoman. You see this character in there in those. And I believe she's shown up in, well, I think she was in like the old Justice League cartoons or the Batman animation. I believe she was in some of the newer DC animation films. But she's been used a lot, and she has many different outfits. Like, but in this one, they're showing her in as a inmate, right? Like she's not there yet, where she wears more like the familiar outfits that comic book readers, when it comes to DC, remember her as. Because, you know, like, here's an example. I'll give you one. There's one where she kind of dresses up all nice, but it reminds me of a Catwoman outfit, but it looks like a dress. But, you know, she gets in there, and she's kind of a badass. Like, she can fight, but she has her own goons. And she's crazy, too, in this. So, it kind of gives you the idea of it. But, you know, I also thought, too, because this is Arkham Asylum, I was like, man, are we going to see Harley Quinn? But no Harley Quinn. But that makes sense. If they're gonna have Harley Quinn in this, you would probably see that in the Batman film. So I thought, but I was kind of hoping maybe there's some Easter egg, but I only saw one, and that's kind of the cells that the inmates stay in. You hear a lot of laughter, but it wasn't like I couldn't identify which one was Harley Quinn, but I thought that'd be cool. But maybe they don't have a plan yet for Harley Quinn for this particular universe yet. Again, they may save that again for the Batman. But we get introduced to that, and we see some other inmates, and one of the inmates was like off the handcuffs, off the chain. And here's the thing I noticed. the Riddler's chain was so big. It was like a big, like it didn't fit his neck. But Sophia Falcone and other inmates, their chain, literally, their neck chain is the collar is what I'm referring to. What fits their necks. The collar around Riddler is so like oversized, like because I guess he's the weakest one physically. But I was like, but again, Sophia's dad is punishing her for being a snitch, basically. And so this is kind of like her harsh reality. And the woman that was unhandcuffed and unchained from the collar whooped on Sophia like she was on a WWE Friday Night SmackDown, like just laying the smackdown on her. Boom, boom, boom. And nobody helped her. They just watched. So they're all in on it. And then we see Dr. Julian Rush, and it seems like he has a different idea. And every time they talk, Sophia's learning that every time she says, hey, I know my dad's doing this. I know. They're like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. This is all in your head. So the idea is if she learns to shut up about it, she can get out. Because 6 months later, she ain't getting out. Her brother tried. Alberto was crying, like showing more weakness. And that's what their father sees in Alberto. So it was getting real. And I cringed a lot. Not because it was bad, but I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I can't believe that they're doing this to her. And they were shocking her. Like, they put her up on this machine, laid her on this table, and they put these electric things in her brain. Like, you're not supposed to do that, but they kept making her go crazy. And, there was scenes in this episode where it was like she was peeling the wall in her cell, and then all of a sudden she's in Dr. Julian's home and stuff. And it was just nuts. But we kind of remember from the last episode that the Penguin and Victor ditched her. And so she had to call him to get help because she needed a ride. And so she passed out because I think she got shot by one of the Maronis. So there is like a personal thing, but Dr. Julian Rush just seems kind of weird about it. But I think he has feelings for her, but in this episode we learned that he just feels so guilty. So he's popping pills too, but not the one that she's trying to sell on the streets. He ain't about that life. And so after she finds out that she ain't getting out of this place, she whoops on Magpie like she's laying the smack down to her on Monday Night Raw, like just whooping on her. I mean, bashed her head in. I mean, it was like watching All Elite Wrestling at this point. But, I mean, it was nuts. But this is part where in this episode where we see her become who she is right now in the current situation of the Penguin series. And so she gets back and she has an epiphany and she leaves and she goes back to the Falcone family, the other members on the uncle side of the family. And she makes this big announcement and she takes that little girl that we've seen throughout this episode, and she's very kind to her and nice, and she convinces her to sleep in this greenhouse. And, I was thinking, it's just poison ivy, and I was like, no way, this can't be poison ivy. I get it, because it's the greenhouse, there's plants and flowers, and they spend the night, but what Sophia did was poison the whole house with some type of gas. Now, I was a little confused because how come Johnny VD is alive, from the gas thing? Because she was wearing a gas mask. So I don't know why, but then I was like, well, this is a big mansion. Maybe she knew that it wouldn't reach to her, but I believe the uncle's dead. Her uncle. I don't know if that little girl's mom's dead, but I don't think. Okay, I decided where I was going to go with this in that review. This part of the review, I would say this is what I think. I thought long and hard about this. I think Sophia kept that little girl's mother alive. I think the idea is, listen, you can leave and go to Italy with your daughter, right? And if you tell and you get back involved, you know, I was nice to your daughter, but next time I won't be so nice. That's where I think that's going to go, because Sophia Falcone, even though she decided to go rogue on her whole family because she's super pissed that the penguin ditched her, right? And this is she fell for it again. So this would probably be the second time she fell for it. The first time was in that flashback, the origin story of how she became who she is right now in this series. And the second time is from the last episode where Penguin ditched her. Now, again, we've been knowing that the Penguin's been playing both families. He has his own hidden agenda, which it does get confusing. Like, well, okay, what is Penguin actually trying to do, right? And with that being said, right, I think the next episode has to be more on the Penguin and what he's doing. And hopefully they reveal the actual master plan that he has. Obviously, I still believe it's going to be him trying to be the one to run Gotham City as the head mobster, and I think he wants to run that new shroom, red crystal drug thing. I think he wants to take that. I don't think he wants any of those other members, the Falcones and the Maronis. I think he was just using them to get where he's at, and he's trying to play them all. I still know that, and I still believe he's going to play them all. Because it's not about Sophia. This is more about the Penguin, obviously, and what the Penguin's plan to do. So I think they made this episode to give you the idea of, like, okay, here's what the Penguin has to deal with. This is one of his challenges, is Sophia Falcone and the Maroni family. And the gang war is going to happen. It's just him and Victor. So in a sense, the Penguin in a way has to figure out how to make sure that he can pin all this stuff that the Penguin has done and make sure that Sophia thinks that the Maronis did this, and make the Maronis think the Falcone family, Sophia Falcone, did all this. And that's why she kept Johnny VD alive, in the sense, because she's going to use him as leverage. And he's going to pursue the idea of him making sure everything runs smoothly until she no longer needs him. Because if you remember, when she was in this episode, when she's talking to Dr. Julian Rush, she pretty much said, I'm just paraphrasing it, I'm not gonna quote it exactly, but she's like, every time she trusts a man, something bad happens. She gets screwed over. She's being lied to. So now Sophia's gonna be the boss, the lady boss. She's gonna do as that she lives in a man's world type, which is very, very Godfather, very Sopranos, very Scarface, anything like that. It's very like a mobster story. And I'll tell you what, they're cooking. They're cooking. Like, let them cook. Let Matt Reeves cook. Let's go, baby. But what a wonderful episode. And I loved like what started everything with her. Sophia Falcone is definitely one of my favorites in this series. The Penguin and Victor are my favorites, for real. Like, I like those characters. I wish they didn't kill Magpie. I think they could have used her more, but boy, they killed her off. Like, and this is kind of a way of like I think Matt Reeves saying like, look, you ain't the cameos you think are gonna happen. We're not giving you those cameos. Like, just they're sticking to the characters that they have shown us, and the characters that come along with that. Like, you know, again, I thought, okay, they're gonna have some Harley Quinn. This is Arkham Asylum, but you can say Harley Quinn's in there, but they never really confirm Harley Quinn. But I have talked to people who said, man, but rewatch it. I heard the laugh. They heard Harley Quinn's laugh, but you got to think, everybody. This is everybody's crazy in the Arkansas. Everybody's a nut. You know, there's a lot of crazy women in this facility. Like, this ain't just a Harley Quinn thing. This is, everybody's crazy in here. Every woman's crazy, laughing crazy in this, because I believe that this is an all women's facility. I think the men are separated. I think what you saw, the men's version of Arkham Asylum, was on another side of the building, because Arkham Asylum in comic books is a big, big, big building. It's like its own small Amish type town. Well, not Amish type, but it's a big prison basically. And if you remember the Batman, the Riddler was right next door to the Joker. So this is an all men's, like one side's for the men, one side's for the women, basically. So you gotta think, like, there's no way you could tell which one's Harley Quinn by that laugh, all the laughing in there. But it does show that this is Gotham's much bigger than just Batman. Gotham City's much bigger than a Jim Gordon. Gotham City's much bigger than just a Riddler, a Joker. Yes, we know so far that the Riddler in the past episodes of the Penguin, he has a plan. He has an idea, like he's scheming something, because they mentioned the Riddler. If you remember when Sophia hired this ex-detective who is super addicted to drugs, right? He talks to that bartender, and he goes, "You go talk to the Riddler, right? If you want this stuff or whatever he wanted, right?" So the Riddler's up to something. But that was it. But are we going to get a Riddler cameo? Probably not. Not really. But they're trying to show you like Gotham is much bigger than what you think. And they're trying to do this in a cinematic universe way for the Elseworld of the Batman. Now, I can't wait to see what happens, but it's really cool to really broaden out Gotham City. And remember, originally they were going to do another like cop show for Max. It was going to be like that TV show on Fox, Gotham City or Gotham, whatever it's called. But this was going to be like the Matt Reeves version of it. And it was originally, I think it was called Gotham PD, and I think Jim Gordon was going to be in it, but they canceled it, and they decided to do the Penguin. And I read reports. I don't know if it's true or not. Who knows, right? But a lot of this stuff, a lot of the story from that canceled series has been used in this show. So you got to think like they're trying to really broaden out Gotham City and tell a different viewpoint of Gotham City with whatever characters they choose to put in this show and this universe of the Batman. So, with starting Rob Patterson, of course. So it's very interesting, and this is what I think. I think personally, we won't see Batman because they don't really reference him, but they do make it seem like he's there. They make his aura very shown, like, but they don't have to say, "Oh, I'm scared to go out tonight because the Batman's showing up." The Penguin's gonna handle his business day or night. It don't matter what time of the day. He's gonna handle his business. Sophia Falcone, she ain't worried about Batman, so they're not gonna say him. But they do set it up where you can say, "Oh, they're thinking about him," which is fine, cool, awesome. We love that. We need that. Want that. Got it. So that's what I like about it, and I like the idea of, like, you can tell, like, there's not going to be a happy ending with this series. Like, somebody's going down, and it's probably Victor. I don't think they're going to keep Victor alive, but who knows? But I can tell, like, either this next coming episode 5 or 6, 7 or 8, somebody's gonna die, basically. Like, there's no happy ending to this, but because these are essential villains for Batman in a sense. So it's just a matter of time of how awesome is this show and what's gonna happen next type. And I think that's the better safe route to go. Now the audience don't have like a high expectation, but they don't have a low expectation. But it's better to, they're making it very clear of what this show is going to focus more about and what this is more focused on. So it's not really focused on Batman. It's not focused on Harley Quinn. It's not focused on the Joker. But with this episode, it just showed another side of another situation that's going on in Gotham City. And there's other things that are going on in Gotham City. So it's very like an idea of, okay, Batman right now, he probably can't get everybody, and he can only deal with one situation at a time. So that's why whatever next events are going to happen with this gang war, Batman probably is not going to be involved. The one person I do see showing up is Jim Gordon from the Batman. I think he's going to show up. And I also believe that he'll be at the end of that episode to maybe arrest somebody, whether it's the Maroni's family or the Falcone's family. But somebody's going to get arrested. Or maybe they all get arrested. I don't know. But that's why I see it's happening. Because, again, not every cop, not every medical staff in the Arkham Asylum, it wants to work for the Falcones or the Maronis or work for any villain. I think, they're on the good side. So that's what I think. But I love the Sophia Falcone story of this. Such an amazing. The whole cast did an amazing job, and I'm just loving every bit of this. This is, I wasn't a fan of the Joker 2 movie, but I'm definitely a fan of this series, and I cannot wait to see more. One of my favorite things about this episode was just how dark and gritty it can get, especially in the Arkham Asylum scenes. Like, that was nuts. And it just shows you like how dark and gritty Gotham City is. And I also just like, Sophia Falcone, even though she's a villain, but she's one of those people who's trying to justify her wrong, and she's saying, this is why I have to do this. Same thing with the Penguin. What he's doing is wrong, but he's trying to justify and saying, he has to do it like this. Like, they made me become this type thing, They may blame Batman. Who knows? I don't know. But if they did, they would blame him because these are characters who are trying to justify it. Why they did this, They're covering up stuff. they're making these decisions. You know, they're not proud of them, but they don't want to do it, but they feel like this is the only answer they got. This is the only decision they can do is get revenge, basically. And you know what? It's fun to watch that, a show like that. So I'm loving it. Now, man, they had to recast Carmine Falcone, but the actor Mark Strong, he did an amazing job as Carmine Falcone for that episode. And I like the other actor too from the Batman. The actor who played him is John Turturro, and he did an amazing job too. But wow, great two male actors who played that character and nailed it on spot. Like, what an awesome thing! And I gotta give praise and compliments to actress Kristen Milioti. What a great job! She is killing it. She is bringing this character to life. She has embodied this character. She's doing such a great job. Like, you can tell she's just bringing it, and it's so awesome. Like, for her to have this one episode just for her, in the sense of it, is so cool. And you know, I've been a fan of her since How I Met Your Mother and 30s Rock and some other stuff she's been in, but I loved it. I like her as this, and this is just because she's doing so well with this character. I really don't want them to kill this Sophia Falcone off. I would love to see her in the Batman 2 or just something like that. Like, that'd be crazy not to. Like, she's so good and she's very talented. Like, you know, there's so much stories you can do with this, and I know it probably won't, but boy, it'd be so cool if she did. I mean, I really hope, you know, Matt Reeves and Warner Brothers Discovery and whoever else, you know, Robert Patterson or whatever, would consider all this and in the sense of it. But I just hope so, man. Like, what a great job to really, because people now, I talked to a lot of people and they said, like, you know, Sophia Falcone is one of their favorite characters watching this series. You know, like, they want to know more about Sophia Falcone just because of the amazing performance that she's put on for this. So I definitely hope so. And I'm just loving it. Honestly, I got nothing bad to say about this. This is my selfish thing. This is just kind of a selfish thing for me. But I wish they did show more Batman reference. I wish, you know, I could see the bat's signal in the sky at night. I wish I could see that. Or scenes where, like, the news report, you know, Batman did this or Batman did that, you know, whether it's on newspaper or television. I wish they do, but that's just me being selfish about wanting to see Batman because I'm a big fan of Batman. So that's just me, and I hope nobody takes that personal. But other than that, I'm loving this show. Really great. You know what? This story is really carrying this show, and of course the actors and actresses to this. But I'm loving it. Like, Colin Farrell, what a wonderful performance him as Penguin, and he's just doing such an amazing job. And I know I think recently he's got his name on the Hollywood Walk thing, so congratulations to him on that, because he's been in the game for a minute, in the Hollywood business, I should say. So yeah, I'm loving it, and also I'm just loving the story to it. Like I said, it's cooking, it's cooking up something really good. And honestly, DC and Warner Brothers Discovery, they need this win for real. They need this W. You know, sometimes it's hard to be a DC comic fan, you know, but shows like this give me a lot of hope. So I'm loving it, y'all. If I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm definitely giving this a 10. What, just great, and I'm loving the cinematic photography to this. What makes the scenery look what it needs to look like, and it makes it really feel like Gotham is a real thing. So awesome. But that's my review, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you, guys, and peace